this connector here. We are going to pull up. Always be careful around these exposed components because they can store energy for a long time. Alright, now we have two number 2 Phillips screws here and here. They're both gold. Let's remove these. If I can. There we go. 1 and 2. Alright. So you're going to see here, right here, this is actually where the main board connects to the power supply from underneath it. It's kind of a strange choice out of it, but we ended up doing it. So let's go ahead and we're going to lift from the where you actually plug the cord into the back just a little bit, not applying too much pressure, and this corner. You don't want to bend these prongs that are underneath here. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. There's a tab here as well, so we're going to pull this tab down. Now we're just going to pull back and forth. There we go. Try and pull straight up, and we are done. You don't want to touch anything on the bottom here. Could possibly shock you. Alright. So now here's a better look. We're trying to be close. There we go, those pins. Yeah, you just don't want to bend any of them. Alright, so next, there is a piece of plastic that kind of insulates the top shield, or the main board's top shield from the bottom. We're going to pull that out. The bottom of the power supply, that is. Alright, we're going to kind of set this cord off to the side. Alright, so next, let's see here. Let's pull. Let's go ahead and pull this ribbon tool right here. So, there is a little bit of a white tab. It's kind of a reinforcement for putting in and pulling it out. On the back here, you can't really get a good grip on it. You're not going to be able to see here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull in here and gently pull side to side. These are fragile. There we go. That's out. And there's that tab I was talking about. Alright. My goodness. So now I'm going to take these two number 2 Phillips gold screws. They're kind of holding the drive assembly. There we go. Now everything's kind of free. We still have a couple things plugged in, so be very careful. Alright. This right here is a little switch to tell the console when the lid is closed or open. So we're going to want to pull that to us. Actually, let's not do that. Let's pull it directly from the main board. So we're going to come down here. You can't really see. You can see where they come in here. We're just going to pull up. Oh, it's not very easy. Alright, we've got 2 more that actually are the power for the GD-ROM, which is the drive assembly. One more time. And one more time. Alright, so it's all 3 out. Pushing the top here because the drive assembly isn't really held in. These are rubber grommets that kind of are for vibration dampening. Yeah, and set that to the side. So this also comes apart fairly easily. I think we should have some dust and more cobwebs in there. I think what we're going to do now is let's disconnect the fan. So these are smaller Phillips. These are sort of 0. Let's see here. Just change it over. So, like this. Alright, I'll give you a better look. Focus, there we go. We have 2, one here, one here. And we're not just going to pull it directly out because it is screwed in to the so that's the side. These are slightly smaller screws. They're a little bit domed, so you should be able to identify those when reassembling it. But yes, the fan here is plugged in. We get to focus. There we go. To the side of the controller ports. So we're going to pull up on it. And again, we're going to try not to pull up the wires, but pull up the tabs. There we go. And this one's actually very clean. You can always pull this apart. Well, if we can get it focused. But yes, you can pull this fan off of here and really clean this little dust. Alright, so let's get this back around. The next thing we're going to pull off is the controller ports. So let's take the power switch off first, just to get that out of the way. Or at least get it slightly moved. I'm going to switch back to number 2 Phillips. Alright, and that is the power switch. Set that to the side. The power switches are the same as the rest, so pretty much the only thing that's different here is the, we're coming into a couple different colors of screws. They're the same. The ones for the case, the 4 were black, the rest are all gold, and the 2 numbered 1 are 00 Phillips that hold in the fan. They're the slightly dull gold ones. Alright, so we're going to remove the 4 screws that hold in the controller here. You guys get a picture again. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so angle for keeping it in frame. Bear with me.
Halo guys,
And the last one.
makasih ya udah like, udah nonton.
There we go. Alright, the only thing holding the controller port in now is the ribbon cord. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it from the main board itself, because what I don't like to do is, I don't like taking the shielding off the main board, because sometimes the stamped holes that the ribbon cord has to pass through, if you disconnect it from the board itself, they're kind of sharp and they can cut it really easily. So, I'm going to grab it, back and forth, it's out. There we go. Controller port's out, really common piece to break. You know, if it was repeated usage and things like that, but easy to swap out if that's the issue with the console. Alright, so this piece, the controller port covers are, it's still held in, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to show this to you. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total screws to pull the shielding off. Just double checking. There are a couple different revisions of this board. You'll notice some where there's another ribbon cord here, and I believe that one goes to the controller port as well, but this is a bigger revision. Alright, so we're going to start pulling these out. 1, 2. Here we are. And I use a little magnet tray to kind of hold all these screws just to keep things organized and make sure they can't really roll off onto the floor or anything. So yeah, we got rid of those 2. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 black screws. I'm going to pull these out now. This helps if your screwdriver will not be magnetized to pull these out. There's mine. This slider. I need to remagnetize it so a lot of these aren't just going to pop out. Because they're not going to come out. Nope. Alright, 2 more. Alright. The shielding should be free. Just wiggle it around here. And make sure it's going to come up easily. I'm actually going to use another one of my drivers here. Just going to pry. Sounds horrible, but it's not. It's just if you're pulling this off here, the thermal pads, they're pulling off the thermal pads and they kind of have an adhesive effect to them. Well, they are. Here, I'm pulling these screws out that didn't come out all the way. I'll flip this over and show you what's going on. Back into frame. Alright, we're going to flip it over. So this is the heat sink. It actually goes onto the top of the shield. Set that aside. You can see here on the main board, and now we can pull this controller cover out. We've got still actually pretty good addition, these thermal pads here and here on the CPU and essentially the GPU. But yeah, if you want to pull this out, looks like we might have some water damage on this console actually. Kind of pulls out like this. Controller ports are in there, or not the controller ports, the video port. There we go. And yeah, this is the main board set. thousands. So it's maybe an earlier version, I'm not quite sure. Or in fact, you can actually see some of this water damage inside the board here. And on the shielding on the bottom. The console worked fine last time I used it. This is one I've had for quite a while. But yeah, and if you want to actually pull this bottom shielding out, it's just kind of tucked in here with 2 tabs. There we go. Pull that one out. This little piece here. So right here, it is a ground. These little pins touch the side of the modem, so it grounds it out. But yeah, there it is completely disassembled. If you really want to wash it, which this one definitely needs, stuff falling out, dust all over the place. Yeah, it's a great place to start. But yeah, I'm thinking about restoring this one. Something else you really would like to see on video. Thank you very much for watching, and we're going to do this again pretty soon.
Welcome back, my friends. So today we're going to be doing another mod to my Sega Dreamcast. So this right here is like Pimp My Dreamcast. This thing has like tons of mods to it. The ultimate Sega Dreamcast. I am like extremely happy with this thing. So Dragon Sword Gaming had done a bunch of stuff for me with this, and you'll see it in a second. I'm going to take this apart. You're going to be like, what? It's some pretty cool stuff. But there's one mod that this doesn't have that a lot of people have recommended, and that is the Dream PSU. So we're going to be swapping out that big ass, power supply unit inside the system, putting this bad boy in, testing out, making sure it works. So what are the benefits to this? So with all these mods that we have, like I have a GDMU in there, a few other little things going for it, you kind of want this thing to run a little cooler, and the included power supply, the stock power supply, can have some issues over time. You may need to get it recapped or completely replaced, and this is one thing to avoid that. So we're going to go ahead and pop that in now. Excuse the mess. It's a freaking mess in here. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I know, man. Like, I got shit everywhere. My apologies. Normally I clean my table off between, recordings, but today it's, quarantine time. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. We're just going to unscrew this Dreamcast, which is a very easy task. Like, what we're going to do right now is literally going to take a few minutes. I mean, most of the work is just unscrewing these 4 screws, being honest with you. That's all there is, 4 screws on the outside. There we go. Let's get this one. Come on. And I just want to show you how easy getting this power supply in here is. And I know there's a whole story with the Dream PSU that the guy gave away, and we are good. You do have to use a special power supply. I'll put a link in the description to the one that I am using, which, weird story. I know I kind of shared some stuff. I didn't, allude to what it was for, but I bought, a cheap power supply that was recommended with this mod, and Amazon had sent me these beats, EP headphones. They didn't ask for them back. They refunded my money. I was like, okay, cool. So I got some headphones for free. I don't know if I'm ever going to use those, but I did buy this power supply. Power plus power supply. 12 volts, 5 amp. Barrel jack, I believe, what is it, 5 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, center positive. I'll put a link in the description. This is one that somebody had recommended to me. It was a little more expensive. It was like a $20 power supply, but that's the one we are going to use because this is going to be our new power supply. This did come with a 3D printed back mount. But okay, we got the screws out. Let me set these aside so I don't lose them amongst this pile of mess here. Oh my god. So easy peasy. See, I do have the GDMU tray there, right here, all cradled up. This thing is nice. So let me zoom up. Let me zoom up a little bit. We have the GDMU, right? We got that tray. We have a battery mount, cradle thingy, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to talk about. I'm losing my mind here in this quarantine, guys. 3D printed tunnel right there for the fan, the Noctua fan. So got that installed there. Then we also have, as you see, we have mini HDMI. So we do have a DC HDMI up in this thing. Really awesome. So what we have to do right now to get this in here, this little thing right here is replacing all of this. Holy crap, right? So okay, 2 screws, and we gotta unplug this in the back here. So this can be pretty simple stuff. Let's just do it. Let's get this done and then test it out, make sure it works. So that first screw's on the bottom there. So unscrew that. Trying to get as best of an angle, but this is a very simple modification. You know, this does allow you to have a little more space in your console for other mods or future mods. You know, your system runs cooler. Some people have had issues with the GDMU or the other, you know, replacement drives there where their system runs a lot hotter. I know there's certain reasons for that, so this is one thing to fix that. We do have to unclip this, so there we go. We got it above that a little bit. Let me pry up the back power supply and then the connector here. We kind of want to, you know, you want to do this when your system hasn't been running for a while because this stuff could be hot, I guess. So don't, if you do this, don't like play your Dreamcast for like 6 hours and then be like, you know what, I'm going to put that Dream PSU in there now because this shit might be hot. So my Dreamcast hasn't ran for a day, just a day. Cause I love the freaking Dreamcast. So this thing, little beast there. My power supply is fine, but it was just like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So there's that. Now we have this little shielding. We don't need this anymore, and it kind of gets in the way with the Dream PSU, but what we're going to do is, you see we got those pins right there. Let's go ahead and line it up, get the pins attached, or get the pins slid down in there, make sure it's flush, and she is. If we left this in here, it's kind of in the way because then this cable can't come forward, or it's all floppy, man. You don't want it floppy. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put one of the screws back in here to hold it in place here, because you know, some people I've heard, like, they don't bother putting a screw in there, but I do notice it flops around a little bit if you don't. So let's go ahead and just have it in there. Yeah, it's a lot more secure now. Otherwise, it kind of had a little give there. So the next thing we're going to want to do is take this additional, the power. Come on now, freaking focus, you son of a. We want to get this plugged in. So let's go ahead and do that. Wrong way, fool. Wrong way. Okay, she's in there. Next thing we want to do is get this popped in the back. So let's try to figure that out. You get a decent 3D printed bracket, it'll just pop in there, easy peasy. So there's that, and then we want to bring this forward. The power cord there, pop it into the top of the Dream PSU, and she's all in place there. we're pretty much good to go. Got our little Wi-Fi antenna there for the DC HDMI. I just updated this to the latest firmware. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Readjust here a little bit. Huh. Okay, we do have a monitor right there. Let's go ahead. Let's get that plugged in. We need our HDMI. Okay.
HDMI.
How's the let me plug in a controller.
HDMI gọi là
Moment of truth. Let's power this on so we got everything going. Let's make sure this works. Make sure the monitor turns on. Make sure we're on the right source. Prism on.
Sudah keluar tadi ke saya.
I didn't go to
Mama sayang
okay.
apa keluar hadiah?
Emang juga
Sudah men.
Source HDMI. Power on. Let's
Ada
do
film
this.
Thailand bagus lah.
Hah?
Film Thailand bagus. Medium.
There she is. I don't have speakers
Oh,
plugged in
medium.
right now, so we ain't getting no speaker action. That's okay.
Jadi bas
Come on.
Nonton.
pernah nonton saya skip just boy.
Get up in there.
Mana pernah nonton itu film baru.
Aduh, ada.
Nice little silent.
Film Jakarta
Fans all nice and silent.
Ah, Baswi. Oh, hadir.
Such a beauty. We can run the crazy taxi. We ain't got audio. I mean, I don't have a speaker plugged in. Let's test this out.
Oh my god, sudah kamu pergi ke coy. Programs, okay.
Crazy taxi. No VMU. I didn't put a VMU in the. Oh, I'm not.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
I don't have a VMU on my controller at the moment.
Yes, Venom sudah keluar. Tinggal nunggu James Bond lagi. Just one, the last. Asik.
I mean, this is working. Power's fine. Everything's good. I'm happy. I'm a happy little camper here, little Dreamcast dude, playing some Dreamcast games. Hell yeah, I freaking love the Dreamcast. This was like, there's so many fond memories of this console, playing Phantasy Star Online, Crazy Taxi, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Street Fighter 3, freaking Toy Commander, what was it, Alien Front, NFL 2K. Holy shit, was this console, like, you know, it was beyond its time. Sonic Adventure, like, I mean, September 9th, 1999. Such an awesome year. Space Channel 5? Are you kidding me? The Dreamcast was dope, man. The Dreamcast was just so sick, man. And I love it now. You know, I have my own little Dreamcast that's... It's still a Dreamcast, okay? It's still a Dreamcast. It doesn't have, like, a lot of the original components, I understand, but it still has the same motherboard, you know? It's still playing the games, you know, the way it's supposed to. Not really the way it's supposed to, but it's playing the games on original hardware. Just via, you know, an optical drive emulator with an SD card with a new power supply and a new fan and through HDMI. So it's an awesome ultimate Frankenstein of a Dreamcast, and I am freaking loving it. So hey guys, really do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I just wanted to show this like easy ass mod real quick. So thanks for watching. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Like thumb butt. Check out those cheeks. What? Flexing. Bye. Boom. Bye.
Jika akun Anda diambil alih secara paksa dan saldo GoPay-nya hilang, laporkan saja lewat aplikasi dan saldo Anda akan dikembalikan. Jutaan pengguna GoPay sudah terlindungi dengan
Ini besi ini bikin berat lah.
Oh my god, mouse. Woi,
Kayak beli CDR lah maksudnya.
gila kau ini mereka goyang-goyang.
Lah, namanya pakai tangan, pakai tripod.